Hello everybody, it's Mick from Jester Bushcraft. Welcome to November's episode of Wild Edibles Food for Free. Okay, who can spot our first wild edible for November? Can anybody see it? There it is. Okay, here's a fantastic example of fungi I've been looking for in November, and that's the oyster mushroom. I've literally just come out, I've been walking for about 5 minutes, and this is what I've come across. I've been looking for one of these for ages. That's a great example, that. And if we look in the book, Food for Free book, there it is there. Grey, slate blue in colour on the top. It might not be coming across like that in the book, on camera, but it is. It says there, rubbery to touch, soft and rubbery, which they are, and the unmistakable gills underneath. That's amazing. And if we just go to the next page, it tells you what you can do with it. Deep fried oyster mushrooms in Madeira sauce. Can be served with fairly rich sauces. They can also be grilled, added to stew and casseroles, and dried. I'm really glad I found that. It says in the book that the oyster mushroom can be found on tree trunks, dead branches, and you can see that that tree trunk is not in a great state. And it also mentions that they are generally found on beech trees, and this is a beech tree. All the beech leaves, beech nuts around the base of the tree, just to back up the identification. And it's just starting to rain. So there you go, that's the oyster mushroom. When I first started this Food for Free video series, I did mention that I will probably learn a few things, and that's certainly the case. I'm in November now, and I'm looking out for the hazelnut, which is there. But if you go back, the hazelnut goes back right through October, September, August, right through to August. Now I've come out today, there's plenty of hazel trees around here, quite young ones, so that might be a factor in why I'm not finding any evidence of the tree bearing any fruit. But it might just be a case that it's too late in the year now. All the hazelnuts have been taken by the squirrels, or they've just died off. So unfortunately I've not been able to find any hazelnuts, but again, it's a learning curve, and that might be the reason why. It might be just too late in the year. This is something else you learn. The rose hips still bearing fruits in November. That's been several months now, so you do start to realise which fruits last a bit longer through the year, giving you a bit more option later on in the year. The trusty rose hip. The stinging nettle, of course, is a wild edible, but at this time of the year they won't be great. But that doesn't mean, you couldn't eat them if you really had to. So even though it's November, they are still out, albeit not as tasty. Right, this here is goose grass, or sticky weed. Now, although it's a springtime plant, the Food for Free book does say that although emerging in springtime, goose grass can still be picked later in the year through snow and frost, when few other green plants are to be found. Now it's only very young, this goose grass. It's only just coming through amongst the stinging nettles, but nevertheless it's still there, and that's in November. Of course, it's always worth taking note when you're out foraging. Take note of what's coming up, what's starting to poke through or starting to grow, because you never know, a few weeks or months time you might be looking out for them, so always take note of what's coming up. And here we have once again, even though the best time of the year is gone for the sloes, this particular bush or tree is absolutely festooned with them. They might be past the best, but I'd say they were still pickable. Just goes to show, even though the book says or recommends a certain time of year, doesn't actually mean that the fruit won't be available. So it's worth getting to know the area that you live in. So what does a sloe taste like in November? Still bitter. Ugh. Get rid of the stone. Still like the aftertaste though. That is bitter. Oh. Right, okay. There was a few things to show you today for the November episode of Wild Edibles, Food for Free. Not a great deal, but I was really pleased I found the oyster mushroom. That's one I've been looking for the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm glad I found that. I hope you learned a little bit about what to look for, what you may not always find, and it's always a good idea just to keep your eye out for different wild edibles that are maybe just showing signs of coming through for future months. The jay just took off in front of me there. So yeah, it's been a good morning. I've enjoyed coming out. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in December.